Now the way you get into the UX, all you have to do is grab the handle as long as you have the key fob on your person. I have the key fob with me, but then the way you lock the doors is there's a little tab or a little indentation right there on the very top of the door handle. And you can see that the door's locked right now. You've got the little stalk and it's down and it's in the door. So that means the doors are locked. Let's say I get out and I'm finished using it. All I do is touch and the car locks. Now, check out this tip. If you want to unlock all the doors, all you have to do is grab the handle and hold it. And then it just unlocked all 4 doors for me. That's a cool little tip. Hey everybody, Brock Freddy here, helping you enjoy your ride. In today's video, we're going to take a look at this special edition Lexus UX250h all-wheel drive. This is a 2021 model. Like I said, it's a special edition. It's got cool wheels. It's got an awesome interior. We're going to jump in and we're going to take a look at the interior, the exterior. We're going to end up in the driver's seat where I'm going to show you how to use all the buttons from the driver's perspective. I love this vehicle. It's an all-wheel drive hybrid. You guys already know how I feel about hybrid vehicles, and this thing pretty much checks all the boxes on my must-have list. And before we get started, I would like to say a huge thank you and shout out to Flo Lexus of Greensboro in Greensboro, North Carolina, for the opportunity to film this beautiful 2021 Lexus UX250h. I'll be sure to leave all of Flo Lexus of Greensboro's contact information, including their website, in the description box below. Now the first thing that you're going to notice about this one is that it's black on black on black. The color of this thing is called Caviar, and it is an absolutely gorgeous metallic black color. It looks like it's got about 20 different colors in it. You also notice the black wheels, but this one is called the Black Line Special Edition. It's got a special black grille up front, that surround part right at the very bottom. It's kind of got a darker look. It's not like just a straight silver metallic finish. It's got blackened headlights. Those headlights are a little bit more aggressive looking. These things right here, Lexus calls them the over fenders. You can see that right there. They're kind of hard to see because they blend in, but on a non-black line edition, you can see how they don't blend in. So this is just a regular, this one's an F Sport. You can see that that's black, and you see on the other ones. So it's like a matte black on the non-black line edition, but on this one, it's color keyed to the body, so it matches the body perfectly. That's actually pretty cool. A few minutes ago when I first got here and they gave me the keys to the UX, I was talking to a salesperson that I've just known for years, and he told me that the UX was the first vehicle that Lexus has ever made that the lead designer was female. Cool. With the key on your person and the doors locked, the UX has a pretty neat piece of technology. It's not new, it's actually been around for a number of years, but it allows you to place your foot under the center of the bumper for just a second and then pull it back, and then the door opens, and it actually works. So let's just say this is in my pocket, doors are locked, and all I do is I approach the bumper, and there it is, and it opens right up. So let's say I'm finished doing everything that I need to do in the back and I need to close the door. By the way, take a look at how high that opens. That's actually an adjustable feature too. You can customize the opening and opening height of this in order to compensate for like a lack of garage space or something. It's pretty cool. Let's just say I'm finished with what I need to do in the back of the vehicle. I can just go and repeat, do it again, and then it'll close, and then I can actually interrupt it. See that? So when the back door was on the way down, I kicked under there again and it stopped it. How neat is that? Now, let's say I interrupt it again, or I just do it again. It's gonna open it back up all the way. You can see that the back seat is a 60-40 split. And you can see that it's actually easy to operate everything from the back. And when I say operate everything, I mean the folding of the back seats, because this is not really like a really far reach because it's a small vehicle, so there's not a tremendous amount of room back here. There's just enough, but it makes it convenient so that whenever I step up to the bumper right here, I can just reach in and push this tab forward and fold the seat if I want to. Now this seat is pretty far back, yes, so I didn't think it was going to go all the way. But those seats will fold all the way down, nice and handy. There's also an LED light right there and a little luggage hook. And then there is another LED light on the left side. There are your floor mats, carpeted mat, and then there's a little door here where you can reach under. Wow, check out that extra storage. That's nice. And it looks like there may be another compartment here. Jeez, it just keeps going. Holy free holies, look at that. That's crazy. It just keeps going. Oh my gosh. What in the world, Lexus? I love this. Oh, there's a battery there. That is insane, Lexus. I love all this storage. I just found all this storage space that you don't ever see or you wouldn't see unless you knew it was there. So now that you're watching this video, you know it's there. There's, take a look at the camera. So that's gonna be your reverse, your backup camera there. And then your up and down of the back hatch. So you can close this several ways. You can do it manually here, hit the power door button here. You can do it with your foot, kick here, or you can do it with the remote here. Let's just close it up with the remote, press and hold. And I like it closes kind of fast. That's a good thing. Take a look at this rear light. Kind of how it's like almost a shelf. And how it like sticks out. And look where it goes from. Whew, that's kind of complicated looking. I like that. But you can see where it goes, and it's going to wrap all the way around, all the way, of course, perfectly on the other side. But you ought to see these things at night, because that light right there, that continuous LED, goes all the way across. What a cool look that is. You also have parking sensors, so there's little dots. Right here under the UX250h emblem is a dot, and then there's another one there. So that's your park assist. That's what goes beep if you get too close to something. Also, I want to point out that you do have the blue lined Lexus emblem, and blue with Lexus inside the emblem always indicates hybrid. The other thing that's cool about the UX250h is that if you see that it is a hybrid, so 250h on the back, H for hybrid, and then hybrid right here, you know that it's all-wheel drive. So the only way to get all-wheel drive in the UX line is to get a hybrid. The wheels on this, it's hard to even see them because they're just so blacked out. So let's get a little bit closer look at them. Ah, there you go. I love it. They look like they're black alloy. This one is sitting on 18-inch. These are actually Bridgestone Turanzas, and these are 225/50 RF 18. That they are technically an all-weather tire because you can see M and S right there. M and S stands for mud and snow, but they've got kind of a look of more of also like a street tire as well. And that's kind of exactly what the UX is actually designed for. UX stands for Urban Explorer, and it's designed for more tight areas, city driving. It's got a fantastic turning ratio. So that's kind of what the whole thought is behind the UX. It's a subcompact, but it's also technically a crossover as well. Here's what I meant by that paint in the beginning of the video. Take a look at that. I don't know if you can see the fleck in that, but that just looks so cool. This color is called Caviar. It's like a deep black pearl color. This operates on regular gas as well. I was just talking to a few of the salespeople, and they said that this thing can operate on regular gas. So now let's take a look at the inside, starting with the back seat, and there's that blue accent there. That looks so cool, and I can't emphasize how awesome that looks actually here in person. So you need to go to your local Lexus dealer and see it for yourself. The blue seat belt. So here's the back seat. Now the back seat, this is a small vehicle. So the back seat is not going to be extremely roomy. It's going to be good for carrying people on short trips. And this is called Nulux. It's not technically leather, but it's hard to tell a difference. It's still got a fantastic feel to it. These are going to be for child safety seats. So you can actually take that and pull it out, and you can see there's a bar, and this is actually connected to the frame of the vehicle. So that's where you're going to tether your child safety seat there into the vehicle itself. And then here is your center seat belt. That's where that's going to be. I like how they've got a partition there, or a place there tucked right in. Cup holders. Couple of chargers. So that's going to be for your lightning cable for your iPhone. It's also going to be compatible for your Android charging cord as well. So that's the back seat. Now, moving to the front seat. One of the things that I love about the front seat, and I felt this as soon as I got into the UX, is that the front seat it feels like deep, and it feels like it hugs you, and it's got such a good feel to it. And the cabin layout has a real cockpit feel to it, and it just makes sense. It works really, really well. I can tell Lexus has spent a lot of time and effort on refining the cabin to make it feel luxurious and functional. And that's a special combination whenever a manufacturer can do that, to make it actually feel like usable, luxurious technology at your fingertips. Lexus has accomplished that in this. All right, so let's hop in and take a look at this thing from the driver's perspective. Before we do that, here's one thing I want to note about the UX, is that it's going to be really difficult to fit people behind you if you're tall, if you're 6 feet or over. I had to, whenever I got in to the UX just now, and I adjusted it for my height. So take a look at the perspective here. So this is where I would, my seating position and everything, if I were driving the UX. Now, take a look at this. Let's unlock. There's virtually no legroom right there. You definitely want to go take a look at the UX to make sure it's going to fit before you really commit to one, because that back seat is small. But you know that getting into it, it's a small vehicle. And now let's take a look at the heart of the beast. So the way you lift the hood latch, you're going to see the Lexus emblem, and then up and just a little bit to the right is going to be your hood latch, and it's actually right there. And then there's a bar right there. You're going to pull that down, and I put it right there. So here is your Lexus UX250h engine. Little 4-cylinder engine, but it has a total system output of 181 horsepower. That's actually pretty impressive for a vehicle of this size. You can see that you have 2 coolants right there. One is for the engine, one is for the hybrid Synergy drive system. There's your windshield washer fluid, oil dipstick, engine oil. And this is just a cover, by the way. You can actually pop that off pretty easily and see underneath that for your complete engine display. You can see over here on the right side, this is where all of your components for your hybrid system are, and you know that because you've got big orange pieces and cables and cords and everything right there. Brake fluid is here, relay and fuses, air filtration. So that's it. I do believe that this is going to be your big electric motor, and then you've got your electric motor sitting right beside your 4-cylinder gasoline engine. So that's what makes this thing go, and it's actually pretty peppy. You also notice that you have SAE 0W16 oil. That's a super lightweight oil, and the benefit of a lightweight oil is that when you start the vehicle, it gets up into the lubricated components, cylinders and everything quickly to reduce engine wear. Now the way that we're going to start the UX is make sure you have your key on your person. And then you put your foot on the brake, make sure your seatbelt is buckled. You see a light here and it says press brake pedal and push power switch to start. This is the power switch, and you press it in and then it fires right up. Nifty startup sequence. I love the two screens there. And so something that I can feel immediately, it's a little bit warm outside here where I am. I can immediately feel the ventilated seat, so I can feel air on my back. That's so cool. We'll get into that. But that is how you start the UX. And right now there's no engine sound, and that's because we're running on just electricity right now. You can see right here on the home screen, the lower portion right there, it says engine. You can see I've got a really nice strong charge on the battery there. And so right now the air is blowing cold. The radio would be on if I wanted it to be on, but everything is functioning as if an engine were running, but it's not, because we're just on electricity right now. Great way to do that, Lexus. Love it. Now, I know I've mentioned that there may not be as much room in the back seat of the UX, just simply by the nature of it being a small vehicle, but Lexus spared no whatever on making the front seat spectacularly comfortable. It just feels really good, and for a person my size, I feel like it's like kind of wrapping around me, but it's weird. It feels deep. It feels like I'm sitting down into it, and of course the seat is, you can adjust it up and down and all that stuff, so there's no problem in finding the right perfect position for yourself. But this driver's seat feels wonderful. And again, to mention the ventilated portion of it, the seats also have an automatic ventilating, automatic heating function too, and it coordinates it according to the cabin temperature. I want to show you that real quick. You see right here that there are different levels of cooling that you have, and right now I'm on the maximum cooling for the seat, and then there's a 3-level heat, and then you see there's the passenger. Well, there's the steering wheel too. The steering wheel is not just heated only, it's 2-level heat. That's nice. But you see a button here that says auto, and that is connected with the temperature right here. And so watch this. You're gonna see the light on this change as the temperature here changes, because the auto light is on. So check this out. You see that? It went down a fan level, a fan speed, as I'm adjusting the temperature up. And now it completely cut it off at 73 degrees, because that's, I guess, about the ambient cabin temperature right now. So it's automatically adjusting the heating and the cooling of the seat according with the temperature that I have the setting to in the cabin air temperature. And then check this out. So I'm going to keep going up with it. And then look. It cut on the heated seat for me because I have adjusted for 84. I'm gonna go way back down now. But that's a really cool feature. The steering wheel of the UX is really, really easy to use. And it's just like the steering wheel on a lot of newer Lexus vehicles. You have OK with a multi-directional keypad there on your left, up, down, left, and right. You have a back arrow with a different screens there on the top right button, telephone, voice commands, and audio volume. Over on the right side of the steering wheel, you have a lot of safety features plus your cruise control. We'll go over all that. And then over on the right side, you have your windshield wiper stalk, and you can see all the different settings for your windshield wipers that you have there. It has automatic rain sensing wipers, so the wipers will cut on automatically according to the rain pattern, and as long as that feature is on. So the way that works is you have mist, so you can press it up and it will mist wipe. So it's just like a single wipe in case it's just only misting, but the default is off. Then you can pull it down once and the windshield wipers wipe automatically once to let you know that the automatic rain sensing wipers are now engaged. And then you have low and high, and that's if you want to cut them on manually. And then this controls, you see you've got this little switch right here, and that controls the automatic sensitivity. Then you can take this stalk and pull it towards you and it'll wash the front glass off. You can push it away from you and it'll wash the rear glass off. That's pretty nice. And then the end of this stalk, you can roll it up and it will cut on the rear wiper, intermittent or manually on. And then over on the far left is going to be your turn signal stalk, and this is not just turn signals, but this is also headlights and automatic high beams. So you can see you have automatic, so the way the setting is right now, it's the headlights are going to cut on automatically at night whenever the sun starts to go down. And then you can see it says DRL off. So whenever it's in automatic, the daytime running lights are on. But right now you can manually adjust that and cut the daytime running lights off. And those are LED daytime running lights. That's basically parking lights. And then that's headlights on manually. But then you have a button on the end of the stalk. And you can see that right there, that icon there. And that actually matches the icon here. And so when you press that icon in, there is a little light that comes on, and you probably can't see it because it's there. You go, you see that? And so that means your automatic high beams are active, and you can see that icon right there. And so what that means is at night, the high beams are going to cut on automatically whenever you're driving, whenever the car senses that there are no other vehicles around. And you wouldn't believe how useful it is to use your high beams in all situations if no other cars are around, even in the city. I know for me, at least, I tend to use my high beams only when I'm like out in the country or on a highway where, you know, it's kind of secluded. But it's actually really helpful to use your high beams in the city if nobody else is around. It just helps you maximize the lighting potential of your vehicle. Great feature, automatic high beams. Odometer and trip is right there. And then your gauge brightness is, you can adjust that up and down right here. And then of course your controls for your windows are all gonna be right there. And then this is for your mirrors. So you've got a multi-directional keypad for the mirror control. And you can go left and right, and that you can adjust the positioning of the mirrors, lock and unlock, window lock control, and then your window function or your window switches right there. You can see you've got blind spot monitor right here, and that's the little icon that's right there in the very corner of the side mirror right there, and that lights up when somebody is in your blind spot. You can also see that you've got integrated LED turn signals right there. I don't know if you can see that blinking or not. There's a little light right there that's got your side clicker or your blinker in your mirror. So let's take a look at the multi-directional keypad and everything on the left side of the steering wheel here. And that is going to do with what comes up on this screen all right here. So I'm going to be working with this keypad, and it's going to change with what happens all up there. Okay, so you can see here that I'm in vehicle settings, and I'm actually going to back out of that. And whenever I back out of any screen, I'm going to back out using this button here. And so now I'm going to click to the left, multi-directional keypad, and I'm going to start at information. So right now there's my current miles per gallon, and then there's just all the miles per gallon information. I can press the middle of this and press OK and reset it all. I can then press down and see how much range I have on the tank. There's a real-time energy monitor that shows me what's going on with the hybrid drive system, tire pressure, and then that's it. And so when I press to the right, there's my audio, and I can see whatever is playing on the radio in real time. Then this is radar cruise control, messages, any warning messages that I may have to attend to. And then vehicle settings, I can press OK in the middle. And so I can change all of these different settings. You remember I told you earlier in the video that there was a power back door setting that I could change. So when I open it with my key, automatically, you know, it goes up and down. So this is lane warning or lane departure warning. I can cut that on or off. Right now it is on. Sensitivity is standard. I recommend leaving it there. BSM is blind spot monitor. That's the feature I showed you in the mirror earlier, and you can change the different settings and brightness and everything of that right there. I recommend leaving that in the bright setting. Excess speed, it can actually read the speed and give me a notification if I'm getting too fast, if I'm going too fast for what it determined the speed is. Notification level, other signs, only visual or audio or audible as well. So this thing can beep at me if I'm exceeding the speed limit over a certain speed. That's pretty awesome. Power back door, and the kick sensor is on as I displayed earlier. And then tire pressure warning system, scheduled maintenance, and oil maintenance. So that's all inside of that little settings wheel at the very top. I love the layout of the dash right here. That's really neat because it's got a digital speedometer there in the very middle. I love the fact that it's got a digital speedometer. You can see your temperature on the top left and then your clock on the top right. So it's kind of futuristic looking, but it still has the very basic functions. That's always really, really good. You can actually change the look or the layout and the feel of the vehicle completely if you want to by going to this switch right here. This is so neat. You can see it says Sport, Normal, and Eco. In this switch, you're going to turn it up, you're going to turn it down, and you're going to push. You turn it up for Sport mode, you turn it down for Eco mode, and then you push it in for normal mode. Sport mode adjusts the throttle mapping and it makes the gas pedal more sensitive, so it has more pull, more takeoff power. Eco is the opposite of Sport and it has more pedal travel, so the gas pedal is less sensitive. And then normal is basically a combination of Sport and Eco. One of the things that Eco does when you roll it down here for Eco, it does make it a little more fuel efficient, but at the same time, it also reduces the fan speed of your climate control system. So that's something to keep in mind, and it does that for fuel efficiency. Check out what happens whenever you roll it up for Sport, and I'm rolling it up right now into Sport mode. It completely changes the look of the dash. So you can see everything turn red, looks more aggressive, and it turned the whole thing into this one giant tachometer. Then I'm going to roll it down for Eco mode, and now this actually turned, instead of a tachometer, this is called a kilowatt meter. So it's like an electrified version of a tachometer. So it lets you know when you're charging, when you're driving it more economically, or when you're in power mode, and that's the least fuel efficient way to drive. But that just gives you a real-time indication as to what you're driving, what the vehicle says you're driving like. And then normal, you really don't see a change much at all. Then on the right side of the steering wheel is going to be your cruise control, and the way you actually set your cruise control is you just push this button here, and that activates the radar cruise. And then whenever you do that, it says radar cruise active, please pay attention to other vehicles. And radar cruise means that it's constantly looking out in front of the vehicle for other vehicles, and it's going to maintain a specific distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. And the way it's going to do that is based upon this button right here, and that's the distance indicator for radar cruise control. And so I'm going to push that, and you can see that there are three little marks right there in front of the vehicle. There's 2 and there's 1, and now there's 3. And the way I change that is by pushing this button, and that changes the distance that the UX is going to maintain between you and the vehicle in front of you while you're using radar cruise control. Neat feature. And then LTA, lane trace assist, is turned on right now, and that's this button, and steering assist is active. So that means it's going to do its best to maintain your lane position, keeping you inside the lane as the camera up here sees the lane lines, sees the lane markers that are painted on the road. It's going to do this, kind of nudge the steering wheel left and right in order to keep you inside the lane. That's what that button does. Then you've got mode, and mode is actually for your radio. So you can change the different modes right there. And we're going to turn the radio down a little bit. So you can see right here, and this is like channel scan right there as well. So the way to think of this is not as far as the audio is concerned, is not left and right, but all audio is at the bottom of both sides of the steering wheel. So volume up and down, mode, and then channel skip. You have another stalk on the left side, and that's traction control off. You can see a couple of different buttons right here. The top one says EV mode, and that is electric vehicle mode. So whenever the battery has a really good charge on it, you can press this button and use electricity only at low speeds. And that's ideal for parking lots, or if you are in like bumper to bumper traffic, that's a great feature to use for just electricity. You also have brake hold. And so what this does is whenever this is active, you can basically take your foot off of the brake at a stoplight, and you don't have to actually hold your foot on the brake the entire time while you're at a stoplight. The way to actually use that is to push hold in, and let me show you what comes up on the dash. So you can see it says hold right there, and I'm gonna put the vehicle in drive. So we're in drive right now. And so let's say I'm sitting at a stoplight, and you can see hold and hold are right there on the dash. The green hold means the feature is on. The yellow hold means the feature is active. So it's actually working right now. If that were not active, right now, if I took my foot off the brake, the vehicle would roll forward because we're in drive. So watch this. And now we're totally sitting still. So let's say I'm at a stoplight. When the light turns green, all I have to do is tap the accelerator, and then I can continue. Then when I come to a complete stop at the next stoplight, that yellow hold will come on again, and it will hold me in the same position that I am right now. Fantastic feature. I actually love brake hold, and it works much more easily than I just described. It sounds kind of complicated whenever you have to describe it with words. When you actually use it in everyday usage, it's actually a fantastic feature. One of the things that I really like about the UX is the interface for the radio controls right here. There's a couple of different ways that you can actually adjust the audio in the vehicle, and that's from the steering wheel like I just showed you. But then you've got this format right here, and it's just like this area that's right where your hand is naturally going to lay. So let's just say I'm driving, and right now, you know, this is my right hand, of course. And so take a look here, and if you actually kind of memorize this, it just becomes like second nature. So I can tune the radio by this dial rolling this up and down, and then I can go media, radio, and volume right here. So when I press radio, right now this is just going, and it's changing the different channels that I have. It's on XM right now, so it's just changing the different channels, and it's going left. So and if I can go right by pressing this button, and it's going to my preset stations. Volume is right there, and then tune is right there. So that's manually tuning it. So this is like presets, manually tuning it, volume, and that's it. It's super easy. I love that interface. And then you've of course have the haptic feedback touchpad right there, and this allows you to go all over your screen, and I'll show you how that works. But there's a sensor inside of there, and you can feel it when it moves from one screen to the next. Inside it vibrates a little bit. Then your home screen, menu, back arrow. So let's take a look at that. This is my home screen, and you can see I have radio in the top left, engine information here, and then this would be Bluetooth, but I don't have a phone paired. It would be navigation if I had my phone paired and my navigation system on my phone active. Then I can press menu, and so now I'm moving my finger on that haptic feedback pad, left, right, up and down. And one of the things that I recommend doing early on is going to setup and changing all the different setup things inside of the vehicle that you are going to want to customize for your use. So there's clock, language. That's where you can customize the home screen layout. So you can see the way that it's set up right now is audio, eco, and then the Navi app info. So you can go over here and change the layout, and that's how you can change the layout. If you only want two things displayed, 3 with 2 on the left, or 3 with 2 on the right. I like this setup. 3 with 2 on the right, with the Navi info on the left. Yep, see that? And then audio and eco. So now I'm going to hit the back arrow, and now my home screen would be the navigation on the left, and then other things that you just saw. Projection settings, Apple CarPlay. So this, do you have an Android or do you have an iPhone? So let's go to vehicle. Vehicle customization is always nice, and I recommend going here early whenever you get the vehicle. Go to vehicle customization and take your time here, and this allows you to change your door lock settings, climate settings, light settings, convenience, and other vehicle settings. These are all really nice. You're going to want to customize these whenever you get your vehicle. Otherwise, you're not going to make it your own. Make it your own by going to vehicle customization and playing around with those features. That is so nice. Then you have voice, phone, audio, and Bluetooth. Make sure that you pair your phone as well. It's easy to do and it's totally worth it. So you're not distracted. So what this basically does is whenever your phone is paired, it kind of eliminates one of those things that can be a distraction to you. Whenever you get a phone call or you need to send a text message or anything like that, you don't want to be doing any of that while you're driving. So if you get a phone call, you can just hit a button on the steering wheel, have your conversation, and then hang up. And that was all inside of setup. Here's one of the things that I really love. Remember whenever we first got into the vehicle, I told you it had kind of a cockpit layout, and it all just makes sense. So everything is here, it's easy to reach, it's easy to do, and it's easy to understand. The other thing I like about it is that this is like layers. So you've got climate here, and you've got seat controls here, and that's like for heating and cooling of the seats. I like the fact that you've got a CD player there. Wow, that's pretty cool. Kind of old school. But then you also have something called Qi wireless charging. Here's my phone. There's my lovely wife. Love that girl. And then you can see right there, there's a little power button and it's on, it's green. So I can take my phone, I can just slide it right there and you can see that the light is orange and now it's charging my phone right there. That is just the coolest thing. And I also have a pretty thick case on my phone as well. And so that's gonna charge my phone by just laying it down right there. You also have an outlet right there if you wanted to use a lighter adapting charger. Another feature that's really neat about the UX is that you can take it and put it in drive, and at any speed you can flip this over and you can change gears manually. Now this has what's called a continuous variable transmission, so you're not technically changing gears in an actual manual transmission, but it gives you the feel of it. And you can see where it says up here on the dash, it says S4, and now I'm pushing it up, and that gears up to 6 speed. I can gear all the way back down to 1, and so that gives you the feel of a manual transmission by doing this. And like I said, you can do that at any speed. You can just flip that over. Pretty nice. I also like the backup camera. So when you put it in reverse, here's your backup camera. You can see that there are lines also on the screen, and that helps you line up inside the parking space that you're backing up into. And don't worry, the screen doesn't look like, it's not wavy like that in person. That's just my camera refresh rate. Okay, everybody, that's gonna do it for our look at the 2021 UX250h all-wheel drive, Black Line Edition. Again, I would like to say a huge thank you and shout out to Flo Lexus of Greensboro in Greensboro, North Carolina for the opportunity to film this beautiful UX today. Be sure you take a look at what they have to offer at their website in the description box below. But remember, the most important thing of all, everybody, have a wonderful day.